Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon. Let's do some art. Ready or not, here I come. Here I come. So I am going to do a reaction video to, it's called The Most Hated Artist You Probably Recognize, and it was kind of shocking just hearing some of these comments, so I want to react to them. So I'm just going to get right into it. And the mayor is in the background, so if he wants to chime in, he can, but he will always be off camera. Okay, here we go.
The George W. Bush of art. Worthless. They make me want to puke. They are false works. They are awful. Simply awful. It belongs in the trash. It is stupid art for stupid people. The worst paintings I've ever seen, and they will haunt me for the next half an hour.
Okay, first thing is, who says things like that? Nobody has the power to judge anybody else's art. I know there's art critics, but I don't even think they have the right to judge art. They have the title, but really art is its own thing, and people have opinions about it, but you're going to be shocked at why they're saying this about these particular artists.
Those are all real quotes from comments, reviews, and articles concerning one artist and his work. Gee, these paintings must be pretty bad then, huh? What are they, pictures of babies eating each other alive? The scatological scribbles of a lunatic? No. These are the kinds of paintings those quotes are referring to.
These are the pictures that they were saying all these horrible things about. Thomas Kinkade.
Now, if you're like me, you might be a bit confused. Why, oh why, are these seemingly unremarkable paintings of cottages one would usually see on the covers of jigsaw puzzles so viciously hated by some people? In fact, not just hated, but accused of being dishonest, damaging to art and culture itself.
Damaging to art and culture itself? That's ridiculous. Oh, by the way, do you like my ears? I saw a commercial today. The batteries are out and they take a weird funky little battery, so the mayor was just saying that I should turn these on because these do light up. Christmas is over. It's like New Year. I think it's the 3rd or the 4th. Yeah, I think it's the 2nd. It's the 2nd. But Christmas is over, but I saw a commercial this morning on I don't even know what it was for, but it was some kind of magic. It was a Magic Kingdom commercial, and it showed a person who had all her Mickey ears hung up on the wall, and for some reason that just made me want to cry. Like literally cry. But then it made me dig these out, and I thought, I'm going to wear these for this little reaction video because I do want to talk about art too. Obviously, I'm an artist, and it's always shocked me when people make these judgments about other artists. You know, even when the art is not great, it's okay to have opinions about it, but I just think it's like, I don't know, the summit of arrogance to think that, you know, just because someone does art that you don't think is good gives you the right to say that it's terrible or it's worthless. I mean, nobody has the right to say anything is worthless. So, yeah, that's just, it was a little shocking to me. And some of this, too, is like, this is Thomas Kinkade, which is so weird to me. It's like, it has to be jealousy why people are saying these things. Thomas Kinkade had the ability to make the lights in his cottages turn on when people would dim the lights, which was really like amazing. He was the only one doing that at the time, and I think now they have paint that does that, but he did it in a time where they didn't. And I always thought his stuff was super cool. But they're saying this stuff about other people. I don't even know who else is in this. I did see like Bush, because Bush is a painter. I'm not a Republican. I'm a Democrat, but it doesn't matter. I could still like, I think it's great when You see people that like you have different political affiliations with, and yet you see them tapping into something that you resonate with, and that just shows you, you know, like music and art is that one thing that we can all say we have in common. You know, there's something that you can appreciate together. So I think that's the beauty of it. But to judge people's art, you know, and I consider books art too. So when people, you know, there's really good writers, you know, and they wrote books, but then you have people that say that they're terrible because it's not the style of writing they like, or they didn't like what they wrote or what have you. I don't know. I just think it's very mean spirited to talk about people like that in art. I think you just, as an artist, you would want to be supportive of other artists. But I think maybe a lot of these people are not artists. They think they're critics, or they are critics, but not professional, just, you know, behind a computer saying horrible things. Bullies, basically. So I want to listen to some more of this, and let's hear what they have to say.
By the late artist Thomas Kinkade. You
Oh,
can
I
make a
never
very
seen
good
him
case
before.
that Thomas Kinkade was the most successful artist in the 21st century so
I never
far.
seen his face
His works
before.
can be seen on mugs, t-shirts,
I think they're
calendars,
beautiful.
and
I would love
probably
to have a
somewhere in
picture
your
that
grandmother's
lights up.
living room. Thomas Kinkade's own company claims
I've been
his
in a
work
gallery
can be
with his
seen
stuff
in one
before
out of
too. It's
every
pretty
20
beautiful.
American homes. And at
Wow,
the height
he's
of his
in every
career,
one in 20
his
homes.
company generated $130 million in sales in 1 year. Now I could totally see.
So I wonder if part of this too, this jealousy thing also is, you know how it always seems like people think that if you're in healing, or, you know, you're a minister of peace, or you're an artist in some way, that that means that you have to be broke. There is this thing. It's like, oh, you know, if you're making any money off of, you know, the thing that is your soul work, that something's wrong with you and you must be evil. I feel like that could be part of what tapped into this. Is he was a crossover success and ended up being in people's homes and stuff, and here they are being hateful towards him for what? Because he's not a broke artist that nobody knows. I mean, good for him. He made it.
See how someone could dislike his work. Perhaps they find it too excessive in its sentimentality, or is garish, or perhaps they find it simply
I don't even
generic.
know what garish
but
means.
To capital H, hate it. I admit I was initially a bit confused by that. In fact, people hate the art and the man so much that in articles about the man's death, you can find
he
such
died?
comments
I didn't even
as
know he
these.
died.
I hate Thomas Kinkade with every fiber of my being.
That's
Our long
rude.
national nightmare is over. There's nothing wrong with liking Kinkade's paintings, but, in my opinion, there is something wrong with people that like his paintings. Yeah, that's basically the same thing. The thing is that the people that buy this crap are ignorant morons from the southeast and midwest of the US. You know.
So not only are they judging the person who created the art, but then they're judging like a whole like states of people. Okay, so that should make you question the person leaving that. Okay.
The people responsible for electing George Bush, their opinions on art are about as valid as a Gibbons opinion on quantum physics.
I don't
Sir
know Gibbons
or madam, I know this is the internet, but if you could kindly remove your head from your own rectum, I think you'd be doing yourself a favor. What could have possibly prompted such venom from a few cottage paintings? What you'll find is that the reason for this hatred may have less to do with the art itself and more to do with matters of taste, the art world, and even, as you saw in the last comment, politics. Today we'll learn about the many reasons to hate a Thomas Kinkade.
Oh, okay. I wonder, so we're 3 minutes in. Is this all going to be about Thomas Kinkade, or, oh, Bob Ross? They're going to talk shit about Bob Ross. Everyone loves him. He's a national treasure. Okay, let's see. Should we listen to a little bit more about Thomas Kinkade, why they hate him? Oh, I don't know. I want to go to the Bob Ross one. Ross Ward is from Tinkertown. He was the artist there. If you don't know about Tinkertown, you got to look up my video on Tinkertown.
Thomas Kinkade was born into relative poverty in 1985 in California. He attended the University of California, Berkeley, and Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. Before college, he was known for having a natural talent for drawing, and was mentored by Glenn Wessels, a former college professor of art who lived just a few hundred feet from his own home. Wessels would eventually encourage him to transfer to the College of Design in Pasadena, having a specially trained assistant highlight the canvas-textured reproduction and traveled by freight train across the country sketching with James Gurney. When Kincaid was 20, he reportedly experienced a Christian reawakening. These newfound values seeped their way into his art, which now focused on optimism, natural beauty, and inspirational settings.
He found God.
Kincaid was able to amass such profits from building up hundreds of Thomas Kincaid signature galleries, which sprung up all over the country at their height and eventually spread internationally. These signature galleries sold high-quality digital reproductions, where one could have the option of having a specially trained assistant highlight the canvas-textured reproduction one was about to purchase. This highlighting...
Okay, so he found God. He painted all these, like, pictures with, you know, glory. The glory, you can see it. You don't have to be religious to appreciate any of that. When someone can paint, you know, the beauty of and the glory of life and put it into your pictures, I think that that's amazing. Who cares? It sounds to me like where they're going with this is that because he kind of, you know, was like the Starbucks of, you know, artists, he just popped up everywhere and had retail establishments. And then he did prints where people could choose to have the print but then have an artist do touch-up work on it in real paint. That was their beef with hating him. And basically it sounds to me like they thought it was like mass homogenation of art. I just think art is a business, you know. It's like anything else. Like the artist does their thing, and then you have agents that are trying to help you be successful, and they market your art in certain ways. Artists need someone like that because we don't think like that. It always has been hard for me to think about like taking money for things, because you know you if you're pricing it, it's hard to price it because you price the value of the soul work that went into it, but you can't put a price on that. You know, an agent can. An agent can put a price on it, but it's hard for an individual. So I think you need the people that are, if you're trying to be a successful artist, you need to have someone like that in your life that will turn it into something where you can do it and share it. Because as an artist, you want to share your work. So with Thomas Kincaid, I'm sure he felt that same thing, that he saw this as a way to share his art and also to make a steady income. The more that an artist makes a steady income, the more that they can do their art. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it kind of, to me, goes back to that whole thing of people think that, if you have half a business mind, that something's wrong with you and that, you shouldn't be able to sell your stuff or be that successful. And I don't see it that way at all. I mean, I just see it as choices that people make. And, he was lucky. I mean, we're talking about him. His name is known. His art is known. How many of us can say that? I mean, I'm lucky if I get like 12 to 16 people that view my videos or see my art. Okay, so I appreciate that. I think that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to go to Bob Ross and see what they're saying about him, because he's another person that everyone knows. If you don't know him by name, he's the one that did the paintings, and the camera was coming from behind him and just showed him painting. And he was so calm and would talk to you, and he had the afro and the blue jeans and I think usually a white shirt. But he taught people how to paint the basics, basically, and made it so simple. So let's hear what they say about him.
So, how does that translate from just mediocre art to art being a national nightmare? Thomas Kincaid has pursue oil painting through people, and both lives compared to Norman Rockwell, mainly because of his appeal to American values and usually cheerful scenes. Some have even put both their work into the same dreaded category of kitsch, but I think a more fitting comparison is Bob Ross. Both made serene art that
Okay, I'm going to show you Bob Ross so you know what he looks like.
Appealed to large mainstream
okay, this is Bob Ross. You guys remember him.
Both lives were even cut short at around the same age. Now, I love Bob Ross.
Wow.
I mean, who doesn't? But I wouldn't really call his work challenging. In fact, one can make the case that it is kitsch.
Okay, so it just said that Bob Ross, he just had the opinion that I wouldn't say his work is like challenging. Well, a lot of people would say that it was challenging because we can't all paint like landscapes. And that's just in itself kind of an arrogance to think that everybody who watches him, oh, I can paint that. Well, a lot of people don't feel they can, and with work they could. Doesn't mean that it would turn out beautiful or it would be something that people would want to hang. It just means that people could attempt to do the steps that he's telling you. But who is he to judge whether or not it's challenging? Because that is all, what's the word I'm looking for? Relative. It's all relative. So the other thing that they pointed out in this video is that he was able to reach millions of people and encourage millions of people to pick up a paintbrush. That's not only good for art, but that's good for the soul. It's good for your health. People need to let go of all the economic stuff that they focus on all the time and take some time to nourish the soul. And art is a way to do that. Whether you're good at it or you feel you're not good at it, doesn't matter. The fact that you attempt it at all is a really great thing. So let's hear what else they have to say about it.
Oil painting through easy to follow alla prima techniques and the soothing earnest commentary that works both as a tutorial and as relaxing meditation. And that I find extremely
he's
valuable.
Holding a bird.
Both Thomas Kinkade and Bob Ross sought to comfort their audiences through painting.
What's
However,
wrong with that?
When it came to them as people,
Nothing.
Thomas Kinkade was no Bob Ross. Thomas Kinkade was very vain. He branded himself as Thomas Kinkade, the painter of light, trademarked. Look, even if you like his work...
What's vain about that? He branded his name and he said the painter of light. He wasn't saying that he created light. He said he was the painter of light. That's just a fact. That's what he did. So unless I hear something otherwise, I mean, really, and also you got to separate you've got to separate the art from even the artist, because it doesn't matter if the artist created something amazing, that's great. You could have opinions separate based on their personality and whether or not you like them, but you can still judge the art by its merits and how you feel about it. I think any person that attempts art, even if they don't do it good, I still honor the person's attempt at it, and I think it's a great thing. And that each person, whatever it is they're doing, they can get better at their craft if they dedicate themselves to it, and you can see improvement. So everyone has potential, right, Mir? Everyone has potential.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear what else he's going to say.
Making everything glow is not something I would consider a remarkable use of light.
These
guys are painters of light, not Thomas Kinkade. He's also said
I don't
things
agree
like,
with that.
God is my art agent, and we have a grassroots movement emerging in my art and in the country. And there's 10 million people out there that if I give the word, will go out and picket any museum I want them to.
That's just a fact. I mean, I don't know why he would even talk about that, but that's just true. And that is where like politics has gotten involved maybe, but he is a painter of light. So
at journalist Susan Orlean $1 million that a major museum would hold a Thomas Kinkade retrospective in his lifetime. Thomas Kinkade was also not shy to talk about his Christian beliefs and conservative family values. The prominent light so often seen in his paintings, he said, represented the light of God penetrating the darkness, as well as Jesus' light of the world. He quite openly resented the elitist art world, insisting that his work was uplifting and a positive influence on the world, while modern art was nihilistic and ugly.
That's just an opinion, and I'm going to show you why he said that. This is kind of funny, some of the stuff that he just showed. Okay, this is some of the stuff that he said nihilistic and ugly, because this is some modern art stuff. Now, I think it's meant to be kind of ugly, right? And that's the artistic part of it. I still think that's art, and I like it. Let me see if I can get the image that was right before it, because it was pretty funny.
He quite openly resented the elitist art world, insisting that his work was uplifting and a positive influence on the world, while modern art was nihilistic and ugly. In one interview,
That's
he
funny.
said,
So here's the interesting thing too. Now they're in this video they're talking about relevance, and as someone who's getting older, I understand this whole conversation about relevance, and he's right. He is relevant if he has followers and people that want to see him. You can be relevant in your work and nobody and share it with nobody and still, like have something to say it, but not have anybody that's viewing it. He isn't wrong in saying that his art is relevant because he had millions of followers, and so other people told him his art was irrelevant. Well, to me, it's just explaining, basically, it's the words. It's like he's relevant because he has millions of people that follow his art, who love his art, and don't get involved in all the, the artist stuff. I happen to, have some feelings in regards to, or have always had some feelings in regards to art and people judging art. And, I realized that most, well, I don't want to say most because I don't know that, but a lot of art that we know now that's worth millions of dollars, the Picassos and all the other, artists that we all know through time, their art is worth millions of dollars, but you always hear these stories about how, they were poor and basically died penniless, some of them, and yet now, their paintings go for millions of dollars. And I was shocked to find out that a lot of this, the pricing, because I was wondered, how do they get to these prices? Like, who decides this, and how does something become worth millions of dollars? Like, I just couldn't fathom how that happens. And I found out that through watching some documentary that a lot of times it has to do with who owned it before. So if there's like a lineage of famous people or very influential people who were rich or kind of these elitist type of people, and they owned the painting, and then the seller would then say it was owned by so and so. And so you can see over time, when it had so many kind of regal owners, people that were rich and famous maybe themselves for whatever reason, the painting tended to go up because it was all these other people that were rich said it was valuable. It was valuable enough for them to own and to purchase, and then so forth and so forth. It just kept happening. Oh, well, so and so owned this painting. And so they can sell that at an auction saying owned by and whoever this famous rich person is. And then the next person buys it for, an inflated price. And then that keeps happening every time that it's sold. Then on top of that, if there's any kind of, historical things that happen, like paintings being stolen or fraudulent paintings popping up and any kind of scandals around the paintings, all of those add to the mystery and the story of the painting, which then increases how much the painting costs. So I don't know. I'm not going to continue to watch this whole video on while I'm talking to you guys. I kind of get the gist of it, and I'm going to watch it off air. I just want to say that I value all art, and I see, art where there's different levels of dedication that goes into what people are calling art, and someone who's really trying, to do art and keeps trying and is working on their craft, even if it's not good, is still art to me. And I can, cherish the fact that people are attempting to do art. And I hope that if you get anything out of this, is just to be open about, our judgments, not only in art, but just of people and of people with different politics or, people with different art styles or anything of that nature, because they all kind of come together at a certain point. And if we can kind of separate and just love the art for the art, and then just move on and not be judgmental, but just appreciate and be grateful for the beauty that is being put into the world. I mean, that's to me what it's all about. So I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. I will also put the link to the video that I'm watching in the description. And I hope you follow. Please like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave comments, because if you don't, then no one ever sees my videos. So I appreciate that. I'm also on Patreon. You can find me there. The link is also in the description, but it's www.patreon.com/Sufani's World. You'll see me there if you want to see more exclusive content and you want to support me as an artist. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Don't forget to be magical. Om Vajrasatyasya Om Vajrasatyasya